the Ron Miller Race Car Studio, this is the Hammer Down Racing Report. And now your hosts, Scott Hammer and Ron Miller.
Suppose I have to unmute us. Sorry. Live from the virtual.
That was strange.
Yeah, sorry. I forgot I muted everybody. Coming at you live from the virtual Ron Miller Race Cars Studio. It's the Hammer Down Racing Report for Thursday, July 2nd. It's hard to believe it's July already. Show number 137. I'm getting to it. I was going to wait till we did the sponsors, but there you go. So, you totally ruined my thought process here.
Your intro, yeah.
Coming at you live on Facebook. You can also check us out on YouTube, Twitter. Where else are we? iHeartRadio, Spotify, any your favorite podcasting platform.
Especially iHeartRadio.
Especially iHeart. Yes, that would be the one to choose. We got some new sponsors to talk about this week. If you want to be a sponsor, we're almost getting too many at this point. But if you're interested, contact me. $30 will get you a month's worth of sponsorship. Tonight on the show, it's been a very busy. Don't take much. I get distracted. It's like squirrel. I look at the comments. Busy week. Lots going on this past week, and lots going on the show tonight. We're going to start off with Supermodified racer of the Midwest Supermodified Series. They got a big event coming up in Sandusky this weekend. Talk to Mike McVetta. And then a little bit later on tonight, we'll welcome back 410 racer Cap Henry, who is fresh off his AFCS win last weekend at Attica and getting ready to start off the Sprint Speedweek. So lots to talk about, lots to get to. Before we bring on Mike here, I want to pay some bills. Talk about Ron Miller Race Cars, Lambertville, Michigan. 734-856-7223. That's 856-RACE. You've been busy this week, haven't you?
Oh, it's been crazy, Scott.
I kept you busy, too.
Yeah, you challenged me, that's all. It's not often I can build a fuel cell cage and install a fuel cell in a car that's not here.
Well, I could have brought the car over if you wanted it.
Nah, I don't work outside, and there was no room at the end.
Oh, and it worked, too, so you did a good job. Thanks to Dean Henry, Big D's Pizza over in Clyde, Ohio. Give them a call, 419-547-1444. Mention the Hammer Down Racing Report and save 10% off any order. Also, thanks to Oakshade Raceway, sponsor of the show, just north of Wasion. We're the fastest meet to race every Saturday night. Got a full show coming up this weekend with late models, sportsman, bombers, compacts. Gates open at 4, racing at 7. Kester Mowing, give them a call for all your lawn and landscaping needs. It's going to be hot and dry, so your lawn may need some help. And Steve's the guy who can tell you what to do. Probably put water on it. It's going to be the biggest thing. But if you want an expert, weed control, insect control, whatever you need, give Steve a call, 419-466-3801. Tell him Hammer Down Racing Report sent you. Also, Millstream Speedway. If you listened to the show last week, we had Scott Warner on telling you they're going to be opening up in August. Make sure to follow them on Twitter or Facebook or stop by millstreamspeedway.net for more information on that when they announce the dates that they're going to be racing. And finally, we welcome a new sponsor tonight, Freeze Frame Photos, for all your racetrack photos, whether on the track or in Victory Lane. They have 23 years of memories at Oakshade, Toledo, and other racetracks around the area. They meet all your photo needs at the track. They also do photo shoots by appointment. Give Freeze Frame Photos a call. Actually, give Charlie a call at Freeze Frame, 419-486-9978. His information right there in the scroll. It's going by. You can email
it's going.
Right there. So, there you go. And that's, I think, all the bills for this weekend. We lost Mike for a minute, but I saw him pop back in. So we're going to bring Mike McVetta in. Again, a big weekend this weekend at Sandusky Speedway. Just the second event, actually, for these guys. Welcome to the show, Mike McVetta.
Hey, Scott. How are you?
Pretty good. We appreciate you taking the time to come on. I guess Sandusky Speedway actually has a big doubleheader weekend. So is Fremont, as a matter of fact. And we'll be talking about both of those later. They got the Renegade deal tomorrow night, and then Saturday night at Sandusky Speedway is going to be the Midwest Supermodified Series, of which you're a driver in, and you won the last race, which was the first race of the season. And I wrote that down. It was Lucas Oil Raceway over in Indiana. That's where that was, right?
Yeah, correct.
So I guess you're supposed to have more races than that, but that's the only race that you've been in so far this year. You were telling me before the show that was the only super modified race in the country.
Yeah, as far as big block super modifieds, that's it. All the California stuff hasn't gotten going yet. Oswego Speedway runs non-wing supers almost weekly, and they're hoping to start August 1st.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Mike, a lot of our listeners may not know what a big block super modified is. They're used to the UMP type modifieds that race around here. Why don't you fill us in a little bit about what your car is and the kind of speeds that you guys will attain at Sandusky?
Just think the wildest race car you can think of. We run a big block Chevy, methanol fuel injected. It hangs outside of the frame on the left front. The cars are radically offset. Almost 70% of the weight's on the left side. We got huge wings up on top. They're actually connected to pneumatic cylinders. So when we go down the straightaway, they flatten out to reduce drag. When we get to the corners, they pop back up and give us that downforce. Big old Hoosier slicks all the way around. They're the ultimate machine. I'm an engineer by trade, so they really intrigue my mind.
Now you overcame some adversity, I guess. Was it 2 weekends ago at Lucas Oil when you won that? You had some issues during the heat. And I guess you had to start at the back of the feature too. What happened?
Yeah, we got just a little jingle. IRP is so big and fast. I guess I heard the caution quicker than the guy behind me, so I wound up and he didn't. So we ended up with a couple bent A-arms and a bent spindle, which we were able to repair most of it at the track.
So what weren't you able to repair, and you still won the feature anyways?
The upper A-arm was still bent.
Okay. Did it help you?
No, it didn't.
You've since fixed it though, right?
Yes. Yeah. I
didn't know. I mean, some racers are kind of superstitious. If they want to race, they don't want to change anything.
Yeah. I mean, certainly it goes through your mind. Wow, the car was so good. Why don't we just leave it? But we did put a new one on.
Couldn't go there.
Now you've run 305 and 410 sprints in the past.
Yeah. So I started out in quarter midgets and ran those. Started when I was 9. Ran those till I was 16. We got into the pavement 305 deal. Started weekly at Sandusky, and then they had 2 or 3 different traveling series that we ran off and on throughout the years. In 2011, we got into the supers. I started driving for Dave Coyen, Dave and Michelle, and the next year we bought our own car, and the year after that we built our first car.
I was going to say, you build your own cars now. Is that a chance? You do everything?
We do. We get a pile of tubing in. We do all the bending, all the welding, all the design work.
Ron knows about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Have you ever built a super modified, Ron?
No. There was an ill-fated attempt at driving one once, but
What is it like driving a supermod? I mean, I've been to some supermod shows, and it looks like there's slot cars on it. It looks like they're just glued to the track.
Yeah, so it's quite a bit different from the sprint car. Everything, the whole car moves around a lot on a sprint car. They're not sprung as stiff, whereas the super is, it's almost go-kart feeling. There's not a lot of suspension movement, high downforce, so a lot of grip. And you don't slide. Sliding's really bad in a super.
Now, have you run a wing sprint at all, Mike?
Yes. Yeah, I had I don't know how many, 10, 12 years in a wing 305. We took our 305 car and put a 410 engine in it for a show as well.
So you can properly compare one to the other.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever run dirt? Or all just pavement all the time?
No, never had the opportunity.
Would you like to?
Yeah, I'd give it a shot.
Okay. Like the open mind thing. I know Ron is big, but he's courted quite a few pavement guys, brought him over to the dirt. So I don't
Hey,
know.
now, I've got a few laps around Sandusky myself, so don't start.
So do
Scott.
I. So do I in a dirt car. Now, Mike, you have a 2-car team?
Correct. Yeah, I drive the 22, and Danny Shirey drives the 72.
Okay, and he's the defending champion.
Correct.
So how is that? You're the team owner and everything, and he beat you for the championship, right?
That's correct. We have one team order. We both go out to win.
Have you guys ever wrecked each other?
No.
Okay.
That's one of the team rules. Don't run into the boss.
Yeah. So Danny's a great guy. He's here working on the cars with me, every week. So if we crash, we're both stuck working with each other, fixing them together. So we try not to do that.
Gotcha. Now you run this Midwest Supermodified Series. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so that was formed 2 years ago. We've got 2 seasons under our belt. It's a owners organization, so all decisions are made through the owners. It kind of picked up where the Midwest Supermodified Association left off. So it's starting to grow. Things got pretty bleak there for a while. That's the biggest challenge with super modifieds. It's not like a sprint car or a modified where you just pick up the Speedway catalog, order the part, and it's there in 2 days. You got to make it all, or you got to pay somebody to make them, and that's not necessarily cost effective. So things appear to be on the upswing. We're getting races at cool places. Lucas Oil Raceway in Indianapolis. That's a big deal. We're there twice this year. So
What are some of the other tracks other than Sandusky that it's on the schedule?
We're headed to Lorraine Raceway Park, July 18th and August 15th. And we're hoping to make a trek to Oswego, New York, to run the non-wing stuff in August. Being New York, it's touch and go if they're going to be able to open or not.
What do you have to change on your cars to go from wing to non-wing?
I bet you they take the wing off.
Yeah. Step one.
Cute, Scott.
Oswego runs. It's almost like an IndyCar wing. It mounts to the back bumper. A whole lot smaller than the wing we run here in the Midwest, and the group up east is pretty much the same configuration as what we have in the Midwest. So that's the big difference. Is that wing visually? I'm sure we're going to have to make a whole slew of suspension changes too with the removal of most of the downforce.
So specifically for this weekend at Sandusky, what do you do to prepare for that track?
Sandusky is a tough joint. I kind of cut my teeth there after quarter midgets in the sprint car, and it's a really tough place to get a hold of. But it's different than like an IRP where you're almost 3/4 of a mile and it's huge, it's fast. You put the newest stuff you can find on it because you're worried about it breaking. So we're not to that extent, but it's also quite a bit different in the fact that you don't necessarily need a lot of downforce in Indiana, but you do at Sandusky because the corners are so tight.
Mm-hmm.
So any special preparations with the forecast being so warm this weekend?
Pack a lot of water.
Okay, nothing different then with the car. I'm assuming on asphalt, the hot temperatures is going to make a difference as far as the handling and how the track is, right?
Yeah, the track will probably be greasy, so we probably won't be as quick as we could be if it was say a spring or fall race where it's cooler. But the setup doesn't necessarily change. You just don't have quite as much grip as you had if it were the fall or the spring.
Go ahead, Ron.
I was just so you will be at Sandusky twice this year.
Yes, so we'll be there this Saturday, and then the 24th and the 25th of July, we're there for the High Miler Nationals.
Cool.
Yeah, I believe there was another MSS event that was canceled earlier this year because of the restrictions due to COVID.
Right, Memorial Day weekend, we were supposed to be there.
So, yeah, it's got to be. I mean, it's a pain for everybody trying to navigate around that. Different rules at different tracks and everything.
Yeah, and it varies, quite a bit state to state. Indiana, I think, is a couple weeks ahead of Ohio as far as, kind of coming out of the pandemic. So things were a little more open out there than they are in Ohio. But, you go the other way to New York and, they can practice, but they can't have anybody in the grandstands. And that's it. And I think they're limited to 4 or 5 people per car. So, it's kind of both ends of the spectrum.
I think that's the way it's some of the areas up in Michigan too.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite track that you've run on? Is there one you just like going back to? You're like, man, this track is awesome.
I love IRP just because we run so well there. But, I'd say Lorraine. It's just a tight little bull ring that, you just got to drive the wheels off the thing to get anywhere. I just love that little joint. Same with Midvale, another really small track for Supermodifieds where, it doesn't matter what kind of motor you got because you don't need it. You just got to drive it, and it's just tough joint.
Any plans beyond Supermods? Is there, other career aspirations as far as the racing career, or you comfortable and want to stick with the Supermod for the foreseeable future?
I'm happy with the supers. Like I said, I'm an engineer, so this really plays right into me as a person. It's not uncommon that we come home from the track and I cut the car up to change something because I got this idea that may or may not work.
How often do you do that and it does work?
Lately, we've been pretty good. When we built our first car, it was not good. I think that first year on our first, ground up car, we ran something like 15 times and finished 3 of them.
Oh.
So, we've gotten a lot better at that. The last 2 years, I finished every lap of every race with the Midwest Supers, and Danny also finished every lap of every race last year. So we've got the reliability deal figured out.
Now, do you share any of this stuff, things that you come up with anybody else outside of your race team?
I'm always open to help people. We've got some guys coming down from Oswego, New York, that generally run that smaller wing package. So I was helping one of those guys out today, try to get a baseline setup because we want to race against people that are fast and tough because it's more fun for us. Okay.
Do you know Chris Mize over at Sandusky Speedway?
Oh, yeah. I know Chris very well. He was race director and the 305s off and on.
All right. So have you ever been on his bad side?
I'm sure I have. I think everybody has. Chris, great guy. I really, really respect Chris.
All right. Well, good luck at Sandusky this weekend. And one thing that usually happens, but I don't think it happened last week for our guests, but usually after somebody comes on the show, they go on to win, and we try to have people that have won so that kind of keeps our record going. So
I hope you're right. We've got a rule with Midwest Supers. If you won the previous event, you start at the back of the inversion the next week. So we're going to have to dig for it this week. We got a tough field to race with. Now
you have a pill draw for the inversion?
Yeah, it's going to be 8, 10, or 12 generally.
Ooh.
How hard is it to pass in the Supermods at Sandusky?
You got to get your car set up for the outside.
Really? Is that where you pass in the corners then on the outside?
Yeah.
I would think you'd got to get them going into the corner on the inside.
Yeah, that's really tough. There's so many good cars with good equipment that you just can't outmotor somebody down the straightaway.
Nobody wants to give up the inside.
No, you bet.
Oh, I haven't mastered the outside there. So somebody's at Ron's door. That's what that means. That's his alarm. Well, good luck this weekend. Again, the Midwest Supermodified Series Saturday night at Sandusky Speedway.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
Mike McVetta, thank you.
Thanks for being here, Mike.
Yep. Thanks.
All right. Mike McVetta, again, will be racing Sunday night at Sandusky Speedway. Coming up a little bit later on, we'll be talking to Cap Henry. The 410 sprint racer won, actually, I believe his second feature win this past Friday night at Attica. Getting ready to start the Sprint Speedweek Friday night.
It's that time of year already. It's crazy summer, Scott. It seems like we just barely got started. And really, I guess we did.
So we'll be talking to him in about 9 minutes or so. He should be popping in here. Before we could do that, let's do a little bit of a racing roundup from action this past weekend around the area. Again, Cap Henry led all 30 laps to win the 410 Attica Fremont Championship Series feature over Caleb Griffith and Craig Mintz. Paul Weaver won his second consecutive 305 feature, and 2016 track champion Matt Irie won the Attica Oakshade Late Model Series feature, with Rusty Schlenk finishing second. I mentioned Rusty because Saturday night at Oakshade Raceway, he was the winner, won his third feature of the year. And I believe that probably puts him atop the points in that Attica Oakshade Late Model Series point fund. Again, thanks to sponsorship.
I don't know. They've only run twice, right?
Uh-huh.
So Matt Irie won.
He won Friday night, but he did not race on Saturday.
Oh, that's right. That's right. He didn't run.
So I'm guessing Rusty's going to be on top of the points of that. And there's supposed to be 2 more weekends coming up of that. They're going to try and make up, I guess, that first weekend. I forget when it was, but we missed 1 weekend of that. So we'll see if that happens. And thanks to the sponsors, Napa, Dwayne Hancock, was it Napa, Brian, Archibald, and Wasion, also Soldier Boy Productions, and Dirt Nerds Podcast. Yep. Putting some sponsorship up for that deal. Also at Oakshade Raceway last weekend, Billy Brown became just the second different sportsman feature winner of the season. All the other ones were won by Rusty Smith. He was on a streak of 4 consecutive wins, going for 5, but it didn't happen. Billy Brown came out on top. Colin Schultz won his second Bomber A main of the year. Corey Gum won his second consecutive compact feature, and Adam Lance won the Bomber B main after winning the A main the week before. At Fremont Speedway, Chad Kimenol took the lead with 2 laps to go to win Saturday's 410 Attica Fremont Championship Series main event. Griffith posted another second-place finish. Chase Durham scored his first sprint feature win in the NRA 360 sprint feature. Matt Foose won the 305 feature. Corey McCoy finally earned his first feature win in a dirt truck after 14 second-place finishes. I didn't realize he hadn't gotten a feature win.
No, just a bridesmaid.
Well, no longer. So he picked up.
You didn't happen to see a video of that feature, did you, Scott? No, I have a vested interest in that team. So
that truck did look awfully familiar. I think I've seen it.
Yeah.
So congratulations to Corey.
Yeah, he passed perennial track champion Sean Valenti on the top side, and I'm sure caught him by surprise. It was very fun race to watch.
I'll have to see if I can find that. Laney Najedli, I hopefully pronounced that correctly, was the beginner stock winner at Sandusky Speedway last weekend. Kevin Jaycox Jr. beat Zachary Miller and Kenny Sharp in the modifieds. Kyle Ramsey was the Renegade feature winner, and Johnny Newman won in the pure stocks. Coming up later on tonight, we'll go through all of the racing going on this weekend, a couple double headers, a lot of big events actually coming up this weekend. And
it's the 4th of July.
Yeah, we'll also have the weekend weather pit stop forecast with Ryan Weekman coming up for all those as well. World of Outlaws, NOS Energy Drink Sprint Series. Brad Sweet won last Thursday night's rescheduled, it was scheduled for Thursday night, but they ran it Friday at Jackson Motorplex. Logan Schuchart won the regularly scheduled Friday night feature, so there's 2 features last Friday. Schuchart fended off challenges to win Saturday's Jackson Nationals main event and earning $30,000 for that win. Next up for the World of Outlaw Sprints is the Independence Day Spectacular at Cedar Lake Speedway in Wisconsin. That is tonight through Saturday. In World of Outlaw late model series action, Max Blair won the opening night of the Firecracker 100 at Lernerville Speedway after contact with Brandon Shepard just before the finish. Shepard redeemed himself the following night, earning his 60th career World of Outlaw win. Kate Dillard won the $30,000 Firecracker 100 main event on Saturday night. Next up for them, same deal as the sprint cars, the World of Outlaws sprints and late models together for the Independence Day Spectacular at Cedar Lake Speedway in Wisconsin. Again, that's tonight through Saturday. So a lot of action.
That's going to be a big weekend, Scott.
Yes.
Yeah.
You think so? Jimmy Owens had a pretty good weekend. He won his 68th career Lucas Oil late model race Friday night at 401 Motor Speedway. Owens then won his fourth straight Lucas Oil event Saturday night in the Easy Go 50 at Talladega Short Track. Those guys are going to be at Muskegon County Speedway tomorrow night, Portsmouth Raceway Park, Saturday for the Independence 50. So lots going on there. And next up, we'll talk about the Ollie's Bargain Outlet All-Star Circuit of Champions action from last weekend. Before we get to that, we're going to go to Cap Henry, who is joining us now. So we'll bring him in 3, 2. I don't know why I got to wait. There's a little countdown there before you pop in. There's Cap Henry. How's it going, sir?
Great. How's it going, guys?
Pretty
Wonderful.
good. Thanks for joining us tonight. And before we start, congratulations on your win at Attica. I believe that was your second win of the season, right?
That was our second win of the season at Attica. It was actually our third win for the year. We won one at Wayne County also.
Very good. So you're atop the points at Attica. How are you doing at Wayne County?
Wayne County, we're not really following points. We just happened to race there just because we weren't racing anywhere else. But yeah, we're leading the points at Attica, and I think we're second in the AFCS deal right now.
Yes, sir. That's what I was just going to say. How big was Friday night's win for you? I mean, it's got to be a pretty big deal to start off with success this early in the season, even though technically we're like halfway through, but we started so late. So
yeah, I mean, we've raced 7 times now and won 3, so it's definitely good to knock out that many wins that quick. Just hoping that we've got our stuff still rolling going in here in the Speed Week, and see what we can do.
I was going to say, does that give you momentum then going into Speed Week?
Yeah, it definitely helps us a little bit of confidence that our program's pretty good right off the bat, and that we can just keep doing what we're doing and tweaking a little bit and try and get better here and there.
Okay. What do you do to prepare for Speed Week? I mean, I'm guessing you've been pretty busy this week.
Yeah, just building spares. Zach and I and Brett went through the car front to back. It was actually a little bit extra hectic for us. We had to, we bring out the Dragon Wagon design this week and switch out instead of the whiskey car. And so it's just building spares, getting stuff ready, but, busy but good.
Well, I just brought up the picture of, that's what you call them, the Dragon Wagon?
That is the Dragon Wagon.
That is a pretty sweet looking ride there. What's up with that? Is that just for Speed Week then?
No, that is that was our partners with New Holland Brewing, Beer Barrel Bourbon, and Dragon's Milk White. It's all under the New Holland banner, and that was what they wanted to kind of push. Instead of doing just the bourbon, they wanted to kind of tag into the their beer, which is the Dragon's Milk White side of things, and so that was what they wanted to do, change up the design a little bit. We've run the other design for 2 years, so just kind of freshen up the look and try something different.
I like it. I approve. Not that you need my approval, but pretty sweet.
Yeah, so we're going to be running that the rest of the year now.
Okay.
Fremont Speedway, you run really well there. Looking forward to that one this weekend.
Can you hear Ron? I don't know if you can hear Ron. Maybe you can't hear Ron. He said, are you looking forward to Fremont this weekend, a doubleheader going on there?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear him. Yeah, we're definitely looking forward to doing Fremont this weekend, and we're going to run Attica, Fremont, and then Wayne County on Monday. Rain date's Tuesday. We are not going to run Muskegon or Brush Creek, and then we'll run Portsmouth, Sharon. Then obviously back at Attica for the Doty. But yeah, we're excited. It's the most amount of speed that we've tried to tackle as a team yet. So looking forward to it. Kind of picked and choose our races, especially with my work schedule. So that's what we're going to do.
So you're skipping those couple races then just because of your work schedule?
Yeah, we're going to skip those two in the middle just because I can't. I couldn't take off of work. Unfortunately, me and another manager both needed the same week off, and he put in for it first. So it is what it is.
Well, and this wasn't the original schedule for Speed Week anyway, but
Correct. That was part of it. Was I couldn't really put in for Speed Week because I didn't know when Speed Week was going to be.
Yeah. When did they just announce this? What, a couple weeks ago?
I want to say it was like maybe 2-3 weeks ago at best.
So not much time to prepare for this. Are you looking forward to Speed Week?
Yeah.
At least the races you are?
Yeah, always look forward to it. Through the years and different cars I've driven, even my own cars, we always ran really good during Speed Week. So just looking forward to seeing, we've run well with the lane car. Last year I went and did Muskegum, which was kind of an off-the-wall one for us. We ran top 5. So, we've been pretty good as a team when we hit the road and travel a little bit. So, looking forward to doing a couple new tracks and just seeing what happens.
Well, at least the weather forecast sounds better for this year's Speed Week. Well, I guess, relatively speaking, if you like hot and dry weather, anything you're doing different to prepare?
That just as a team, we're, just making sure that everybody's healthy. There's a lot of water packed away in the trailer, a lot of Gatorade, just that kind of stuff, just to make sure everybody stays hydrated, nobody gets sick. Last thing we want while we're out on the road, somebody getting sick or getting dehydrated and needing to go to the hospital or anything like that. So, everybody's trying to do their best to stay healthy.
Okay. Now you have merchandise for sale. How can people get that? And what do you have?
We actually have T-shirts in multiple different.
Look at that.
In multiple different colors. Normally you can buy them through laneracing.com, or I'm sorry, laneracing.bigcartel.com. The sales are suspended right now until the end of Speed Week, just so that they can update the on-hands. But you can also buy, we always have T-shirts at the track after the races. I know at Fremont, the girls set up behind the main grandstands until later on. So those are your options. Okay.
Do you hear about Millstream opening back up? What are your thoughts on running there maybe later in the year?
I really like Millstream, so I'm glad to hear that it's going to reopen. I really didn't hear a whole lot of details other than it's going to open. I hope whoever's running it works out and that we can get some more races on it than we have in the past few years. It's a neat racetrack. The community always seems to support it, so it's always so frustrating when it just doesn't ever seem like anything works out long term there. So I hope something really works out. It's a neat racetrack. It's fun. Like I said, the community's great there. There's a lot of racing history there. So I really hope it works.
Well, we had Scott Warner on that made the announcement last week on that. He plans to run 2 or 3 shows, I believe, later in August. And then after that, and the 410s are, I believe, going to be at least all 3 of those shows.
Right.
Okay.
So, and Sunday nights, he's keeping it Sunday nights, and it sounds like he's got his stuff together. So we're definitely looking forward to that too. And we'll have announcement. I think he said later this month he will have the exact date and everything, all the details. So
awesome.
We'll keep you updated on that. What's your plan or goals? I guess for the rest of the season, you going for the points at Attica, the AFCS points? What are Fremont points? What's going on with you?
We really didn't at the beginning of the year. We really didn't commit to anything just because with our expansion of working with New Holland Spirits and the brewing, that we were going to have some commitments to go run some stuff up in Michigan because that's where they're from. So there was some commitments there to support them and be there for races close to them. Then once the COVID and all that stuff kind of happened, we're not really sure what we're going to do. Right now it's tough to not want to run Attica just because we're leading the points. But last year that kind of got us into some trouble there towards the end of the year when we were committed to New Holland and ran 2 cars at 2 different racetracks, and it didn't work out good for anybody involved. And so I don't know, to be realistic at this point. We are signed up for the AFCS, but it's just going to be a kind of if it goes well, we might stick to it. If it doesn't, we probably won't stick to it. So unfortunately, I don't have an answer.
Okay. Have you run? Have you gotten to run in Michigan at all this year yet?
We have not. So we have only raced Attica, Wayne County, and Fremont are the only 3 tracks we've raced at. I think, unfortunately, the best of my understanding, I think Michigan's actually a little bit worse off on trying to get racetracks open than we are.
Unless you go way up north.
You've got to go
that's what I
Saginaw area.
Go way up there. So the stuff that's close to New Holland isn't open. So right now we don't know. We have commitments to them, but at this point in time, we don't know when we can even fulfill them. So no, the long answer to all that was what I said. The short answer is no.
Gotcha. What tracks would you be running up there if everything was open?
We would probably try and go run I-96, probably Hartford. Those are some tracks close to them. The track that we used to go do to help them out was we would go do when they would put dirt on Berlin, but they didn't do that last year, and that was a sod deal, so I don't think they're going to do it this year either.
Okay. Well, I think I saw something about that's Ron's alarm system again going on. You can't hear that. I forgot. He can't hear you, Ron. There's a bunch of dogs barking. No, I just totally. I-96. I thought I just saw they're not running this weekend, but they're working on it. Like something is in the works where they may be opening up soon. So hopefully you can get up there and run. But yeah, that's all I got for you. I'm guessing you're pretty busy getting ready for running. What, 4 days straight? Is it? Yeah, because Tuesday's the first day off.
Yep. Yeah, I mean we're busy, but we're caught up. Actually, just before I'm sitting in the race trailer before I talked to you guys, I was just kind of bodying the car up. So we're about as ready as we're going to get, I should put it. And, excited to do some racing. Excited to race with the All-Stars for the first time this year and excited to see how we measure up.
All right. Go get them.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it. Make us proud, Cap.
Cap Henry, good luck.
Appreciate it.
All right. Once again, the Ohio Sprint Speedweek with the All-Star Circuit of Champions starts tomorrow night at Attica Raceway Park, then moves to Fremont on Saturday and Sunday. They got a doubleheader there. So we'll go through that. What else is coming up here in a little bit? You okay there, Ron?
I am.
Okay. Back to our racing roundup, some of the other stuff. And there's something you wanted to talk about. We'll get to that a little bit later, the rough tracks. Also, I wanted to talk about the choose option that NASCAR is implementing at the All-Star race at Bristol in a couple weeks that you weren't aware of. That we'll talk about that here in a little bit, because that could be something to look into at some of the tracks around here. But we left off at the All-Stars Circuit of Champion action from last weekend. Aaron Reitzel won Saturday night's race at Volunteer Speedway, and Sunday's action was canceled due to inclement weather. As we mentioned, next up for the All-Star Circuit of Champions is Attica tomorrow, Fremont Saturday and Sunday, Wayne County on Monday. They're off on Tuesday, Brush Creek on Wednesday, Muskegon County Speedway on Thursday, and then beyond that, we'll be back on, and we'll tell you when the rest are. So you got to tune in next week to the Hammer Down Racing Report, because there's absolutely no way, other than listening to the show, you can tell where else the All-Star Circuit of Champions will be racing.
That's right.
Beyond a week out.
We are the only source.
That's right. Arca Menard Series was in action at Pocono, and Ty Gibbs made his first start on a super speedway. I didn't realize it was his first start. And he ended up winning on Friday night, convincingly. Next up for the Arca Series is the Calypso Lemonade. That actually sounds good. I want some lemonade. I'm just drinking water, but some lemonade sounds really good.
Boring.
I know. That's going to be at Lucas Oil Raceway in Indianapolis tomorrow night, as a matter of fact, at 8 o'clock. I'm not sure if that's on FS. It's probably on FS1. I could be wrong, though. NASCAR action. Brandon Jones won an exciting Gander RV and outdoors truck race on Sunday morning. There was a triple header Sunday. It's like you could just sit at home and start watching racing at 9 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock at night, which was weird if you like NASCAR, or NAPCAR, as you call it. You could have taken a pretty good nap. But the truck race and the Xfinity race were pretty exciting. A couple of red flags. But Brandon Jones won the truck race. He did a last lap pass. Chase Briscoe overcame setbacks and earned his 4th Xfinity Series win on Sunday afternoon. And Kevin Harvick won Saturday's Cup race at Pocono. And then Denny Hamlin won Sunday evening's race. So,
did you watch any of the truck
racing.
race, Scott?
Yeah, I did. I watched the entire thing. And
Okay.
there was so much racing I watched that it all kind of blends together to me.
What happened to our friend Matt Crafton? I saw he finished 40th, but I tuned in kind of late.
I missed that. I don't know.
Okay.
Apparently, I didn't watch the whole thing.
He finished last.
Something bad happened, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Xfinity Series is in action at the Brickyard Road Course on Saturday, I do believe, at 3 o'clock, and that's going to be on NBC. This weekend's NASCAR action will be on NBC instead of FS1. The Cup Big Machine Hand Sanitizer 400, powered by Big Machine Records. That's a mouthful. That's the Brickyard, 4 o'clock on Sunday afternoon on NBC. Trucks are off this weekend. They'll be back the following weekend at Kentucky Speedway. Some other notes to cover here. Buddy Kofoid earned his 3rd POWRi Lucas Oil National Midget League victory on Friday night at Charleston Speedway in Illinois. So congratulations to him, former guest on the show. NTT IndyCar Series will welcome fans for the very first time this year at Road America for the REV Group Grand Prix presented by American Medical Response doubleheader. Fans will also be permitted for the 104th running of the Indy 500 on August 23rd. Of course, that was rescheduled from Memorial Day because they couldn't have any fans, but now they will be allowed to have 50% capacity. Dave Kemmer says Matt was at the wrong place, the wrong time on the first lap. I missed the very beginning, so that must have been what happened then. So Matt got taken out at the beginning of the truck race there. Also, the IndyCar Series in action this weekend at the road course. I think that race is on Saturday at Indianapolis. It's that first ever IndyCar NASCAR doubleheader deal. It's a lot of racing.
Road course.
Yeah. So that'll be pretty cool. Eldora announced, and this is sad news because last week we were talking about this huge Sprint Speedweek going into the Brad Doty and then to the Kings Royal.
Ain't no Kings Royal.
The first 2 parts are still good. We still got Sprint Speedweek. We still got the Brad Doty coming up. I believe that's, is that the 14th? It's whatever that Tuesday is.
Yeah.
And actually, I could probably tell you. Yeah, it'd be the 14th because the Kings Royal, originally slated for the 15th through the 18th, has been pushed back. 37th running of the event has been pushed back to 2021. Also, some other bad sprint car news. The Knoxville Nationals will also not happen this year. The 60th running has also been postponed to 2021. So that's sad. Just another thing that was postponed just before we came on here. I saw, thanks to official Hammer Down Racing Report correspondent Matt Swander. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Did you hear about Chris Madden?
Left Bloomquist.
He's departed Scott Bloomquist Racing. He had originally signed a 2-year deal last June. Chris says he plans to spend more time with family and has no immediate plans to get back behind the wheel. Scott Bloomquist Racing will move forward, focusing only on the 0 car. So they're down to a 1-car operation. And we were talking about this a little bit before the show. There was an incident at, where was this? Lawrence County Speedway in South Carolina, injuring 4 fans. And the car got up on the wall, crashed through the fence. Not a good thing. Fencing doesn't look very good there. So bad deal there. So apparently they needed a little bit better catch fence because it just cut right through that.
And I'm not really sure why the car climbed the wall that way either, Scott. That
kind of a weird deal.
Yeah.
But weird deals happen. That's why we always say stand back away from the fence.
Have you ever told fans that, Scott?
Never mentioned that.
Every week.
Never. And apparently, this is another thing that came out of this because there's news reports about this down there in South Carolina. And after they talked about that incident, I guess 4 people were injured. None of them were life-threatening injuries, but a couple of them were pretty serious and taken to the hospital. And I think at least one of them was life-flighted. But
I think 2 of them, but yeah.
2 of them? Okay. And apparently, this came out as part of the report. Speedways in South Carolina are not yet permitted to allow fans at the track, according to that news report on the incident from WYFF NBC4 down in South Carolina. So there's that. And I guess they said they reached out to the track about that and didn't get a response.
Wow, imagine that.
Yeah.
Why did you have fans? Yeah.
So the other deal that got canceled just shortly before we came on tonight, the Prairie Dirt Classic at, Fairbury American Legion Speedway Falls. That was supposed to be a $50,000 to win show weekend. They actually had the rescheduled UMP Summer Nationals with a break for that event, in the middle of the rescheduled Summer Nationals. So, yeah, that's been postponed to 2021 too, just like the Knoxville Nationals and the Kings Royal. But, and here's the bright side of this, the World of Outlaws have announced World of Outlaw late models announced a $25,000 to win. It's half the amount, but still it's $25,000. It's a nice chunk of change. 2-day show at Kokomo, July 31st and August 1st. I guess they're going to announce the details of that on Tuesday. So you got to take the good with the bad. And one final thing here. NASCAR announced format changes to the All-Star race at Bristol coming up on July 15th. That includes a choose rule, which is the first I've heard of this. But apparently at some of the short tracks that NASCAR runs, some of their NASCAR-sanctioned tracks, short tracks, they do this choose rule where drivers pick inside or outside for the restart at a designated spot on the track. So, this year it's been a deal where I guess even the past few years where drivers are trying to jockey or hit the brakes coming out of the pits so they can determine if they're going to start on the outside or inside.
Sure. And their spotters coordinate that.
Yeah, there's got to be a lot of going on there. Well, this apparently, from what I can gather, and this sounds like something maybe that tracks around here could look into. I don't know, because I know at least at Oakshade, the leader gets to choose inside or outside, and then everybody
determines the rest of the field. In this deal, I guess at some point on the track, at some whenever, they say, okay, choose your inside or outside. So I'm guessing, and they're running single file at this point in time. So when they choose, I'm guessing like maybe say, for instance, the top 10 decide to start on the inside, the 11th place guy could pull up on the outside all the way up to the front or second row. It's kind of like, you see how that works? They can choose where they are, if, I don't know. It could be messy, though, I think, too, if people are not choosing right away. It'll be interesting to see. They're going to try this at the All-Star race at Bristol, which makes sense there because everybody wants to be in a certain lane there. Yeah, but they've been playing with the traction compound there, so
it may not matter too much.
It'd be interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, well, let's see how that works out. So, and you want to talk about rough tracks, huh?
I do. And really, Scott, I've got to come to the defense of all the area racetracks because late last week we took 2-3 inches of rain at most of the tracks. Now I've interviewed racers, and I won't name any names, at Oakshade, Attica, Fremont, Butler, and Merritt. And the only track that wound up with a really good handle on it, I guess, was Attica, but they wound up with a monster cushion there that if you hit it could eat the car up.
I believe that Attica put down new clay this spring too, I believe. So they got a whole new surface too.
All the other tracks had some issues. Fremont said that the guys that raced there said that the track smoothed out as the night went on. We'll see how it plays out this week with all the brilliant sunshine and no rain at all. I think we're going to see totally different racing this week than what we had last week.
Okay.
And
I think the weather will have something to do with that.
Absolutely. Coming to the defense of the racetracks, it seems that the rain had a big effect on all the tracks.
Well, rain should not be a problem this upcoming week. Again, we have the Ryan Weekman weekend weather pit stop coming up, and
shortly.
Yeah. How about we do how many? Your chance to win a Big D's pizza. Shall we do that?
Sure.
Last week's
Kathy's on her way to Clyde to pick up tonight's pizza anyway.
Oh, is she?
Nah, I lied.
We haven't said who won that. Last week's how many 305s were going to be at Fremont on Saturday for the Attica Fremont Championship Series event. And the number that I came up with was 23. And Kathy guessed 25 last week. So she's our virtual studio winner. If you'd like to play along online, you can put your guess in the Facebook Live comments. If you're listening to us on iHeartRadio or some other podcasting platform, not live, come on back to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Hammerdown Racing Report. Find the video, type in your guess in the comments. You have until, probably tomorrow night at about 5 o'clock, Friday night at 5, because, I'm not going to tell you what this week's is because I got to congratulate our winner who won a Big D's Pizza last week for guessing the exact amount of 305s at Fremont on Saturday. It was Larry Kingseed Jr. He guessed 23. So Larry, get with Dean and get yourself a Big D's Pizza.
Maybe a bit of inside information there.
Maybe
from young Mr. Kingseed.
He might have a good idea how many is going to be there. This week, our how many 410s are going to be at Attica tomorrow night for the Speed Week opener.
Ooh. You're going first tonight, too.
Am I?
Yeah.
For some reason, I'm seeing in my head a 58.
That's a big number.
That is a big number. I'm going with it. I'm sticking with my 58. What do you got, Ron? Or
47.
47, okay.
Mrs. Miller?
32.
Ooh, 32.
32. She's very pessimistic. So go ahead, put your guesses in the Facebook comments. Closest to it will win that Big D's Pizza. John Young says 30. What are you thinking, John? Come on. There you go. My dad at least is supporting me. He's got 53 on there. So we'll see. We'll find out who the winner is next week of that Big D's Pizza. Did you? So what's Waynesfield? It's supposed to be racing tonight, right? Is that happening?
I haven't heard.
I have not seen anything one way or another with the fast 410 sprints, the USAC D2 Thunder Midgets, and the 360 versus 305 challenge. I saw no updates on their Facebook. I saw no updates on the Fast Facebook or the Fast page. So I don't know. I think they're racing. The Buckeye Outlaw Sprint Series is supposed to be there too. So that's supposed to be nice. It's the 12th annual Jack Hewitt Classic. Maybe Dave could update us on that. I meant to check on that before we came on here. But nonetheless, we have a forecast for it. Cody Thomas says no. I was wondering. Thank you, Cody. Appreciate that. Coming up tomorrow night, and this is happening, couple of races. Sandusky doing a unusual Friday night event. It's the Renegade Rumble featuring the Renegade stocks paying $1,200 to win. I think this is a Chris Mize baby. And beginner stocks, pure stocks will also be in action. Pit gate opens at 3:30, racing at 7:30. General admission is just $1, but, and it is a big but, if you're one of the first 725, you're going to get in free. You're going to save $1.
First 725, save $1.
Save $1, and you can. I think there's $1 hot dogs and other $1 things going on, so you can use that buck to buy a hot dog. But that's tomorrow night at Sandusky Speedway. Racing will start at 7:30 p.m. They got sponsors that are covering the admission fees for the first 725 people.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Pretty big deal, too. And $1,200 to win for the Renegades. Pretty big event there. So that's tomorrow night. Another big event. Attica Raceway Park, Ohio Sprint Speedweek kicks off with the Bauman Auto Group, Ohio Laborers, Ohio Cat Night, featuring the All-Star Circuit of Champions, $5,000 to win. UMP late models will be in action for $2,000 to win, $200 to start. Gates open at 3 racing at $745. General admission is $25 there. Saturday night, we got some more racing. Sandusky Speedway. There you go. Sandusky Speedway with that Midwest Super Modified Series event. You can see Mike McVetta, who we had on earlier tonight. He'll be trying to pick up his second consecutive win. Pure Stocks, Beginner Stocks, Renegades will also be in action. Pit gates open at 3, racing at 7. General admission Saturday night at Sandusky Speedway is $18. Oakshade Raceway in action on Saturday with the Sportsman late models. I should have said late models first. I skipped them. Late model Sportsman Bombers Compact. Gates open at 4, I saw. So update on that. We're going back to the 4 o'clock gate time as opposed to 3 as it has been the past month or so.
We did that last week.
Did we?
4 o'clock. Yes, sir. Actually, we got
Good thing it didn't show up early last week.
Yeah, you'd have been.
Nobody tells me anything. Why would I have to know? I'm just the guy that does the website and announces. I don't. Really, it was?
Scott. Yeah, we got there a couple minutes after 4, and the gates appeared to have been open for a while. So.
All right. Well, anyway, general admission.
4 o'clock.
It's a regular show at Oakshade, $14 general admission. Fremont Speedway is in action. It's Bauman Auto Group night, featuring, of course, the All-Stars. Night number 2 of the Ohio Sprint Speedweek. $5,000 to win. Dirt trucks also in action. Gates open at 4, racing at 7. General admission, $25 on Saturday night. Also, $25 on Sunday night at Fremont Speedway for night number 3 of Ohio Sprint Speedweek. Night number 2 of the doubleheader at Fremont. It's Vision Quest night. All-Star Sprints will be racing again for $5,000 to win. 305 Sprints will be in action as well on Sunday. Gates open at 4, racing at 7. So, a couple doubleheaders for some local tracks with some big events. Pretty cool. So how about we check out what the forecast is going to be like for those events. We'll bring in our official Hammer Down Racing Report meteorologist that we steal from Channel 11 every now and then, Ryan Weekman.
We allow him to go back there occasionally.
Occasionally, yeah. But here's your forecast. It's a warm one. It's a spoiler alert.
Here is your WTOL 11 weekend weather pit stop forecast. I'm First Alert meteorologist Ryan Weekman. We start off Thursday, and you're going to hear this word a lot to describe the weather over the 4th of July weekend. Hot. High temperatures should reach close to 90 degrees. Dry weather likely down at Waynesfield. Let's move on to Friday. We've got races at Sandusky and Attica. I should reach into the lower 90s, and at race time, temperatures will still likely be in the upper 80s with dry conditions likely. High pressure sits overhead for the 4th of July weekend, and that ensures hot, dry, sunny weather for both Saturday and Sunday. For those races Saturday at Sandusky, Oakshade, and Fremont, high temperatures should reach around 92 to 93 degrees, with race time temperatures back in the upper 80s. And for Sunday, 7 p.m. race time there at Fremont, again, very hot, highs back in the lower 90s. For WTOL 11, I'm First Alert meteorologist Ryan Weekman.
Yep, there you go. And I found out why we didn't get the forecast from him last week. He neglected to tell me that he was off Wednesday through Friday last week. It was an unauthorized Hammer Down Racing Report vacation. So
he needs to stay on top of that.
I know. We're not going to let him go back to Channel 11 anymore if he keeps doing that. I really hope he doesn't listen to this. So that's what happened last week. That's it for this edition of the Hammer Down Racing Report. You got anything else, Ron? You good?
I really don't. Stay hydrated this weekend, folks. Make sure you get out to at least one race this weekend. Support your local racetracks.
There's plenty to support, even though some of them aren't right. Oh, I did mean to mention the Flat Rock had an update. Flat Rock and Toledo Speedway. Which I saw the email and then I couldn't find it. Do you want to give a brief overview of that?
I believe it was the July 17th. You can check your calendar, but I think it was the July 17th they had scheduled for opening. They just announced that is not going to be happening.
Yeah, they're further pushing things back, and it's another. This is something else I found interesting. Toledo Speedway and Eldora, when they announced the cancellation of, or the postponement, I'm sorry, not cancellation, the postponement of the King's Royal, that Ohio was not allowing spectators at racetracks. And yet we have spectators at racetracks. I don't know if we should be saying that. Should we keep this? Is it supposed to be on the down low? I don't know what's going on. I'm kind of confused, but I'm guessing it's local health departments making those decisions. So there you go. I don't know. But yeah, basically Toledo and Flat Rock are still pushing things back as of right now. No races are going to be scheduled. As soon as they get the green light, they will give as much notice as possible, and we'll let you know as soon as that happens. So thanks to Dave Kimmer and Matt Swander, our associate producer Dave Kimmer and official field correspondent Matt Swander. Give him some titles. Thanks to Cap Henry for joining us earlier tonight. Good luck to him during the Sprint Speedweek, and also during the Brad Doty. We're gonna
if you happen to run across Matt Swander before he climbs the flag stand Saturday night, check out his right arm. It's absolutely bulging from waving those new flags, Scott.
Yeah, those were some impressive. Those are like bed sheets attached to a stick. That white flag. I mean, you could cover up and go to sleep in it.
Yepper.
He's got some huge flags.
Check out Matt Swander's right arm. You'll be impressed.
Moving on. Also, thanks to Mike McVetta joining us earlier tonight. Check him out in Midwest Supermodified Series action Saturday night at Sandusky Speedway. Once again, thanks to our sponsor.
Cap Henry.
I mentioned Cap. Cap's in action at Attica, Fremont, Wayne County. There's your 4-day
weekend.
Weekend.
Thank him. You should.
Okay.
Thanks, Cap.
Thanks, Cap. And sweet looking, right? You saw that picture I put up, right?
I did. That's killer.
Yeah. Thanks to Ron Miller Race Cars, Big D's Pizza, Oakshade Raceway, Kester Mowing, Millstream Speedway, and Freeze Frame Photos. Brand new sponsor tonight. Make sure to tell Charlie you heard about him on the Hammer Down Racing Report. Even you can lie to him, even if you didn't hear about it on the Hammer Down Race Report. Just tell him anyways. How
would they know if they weren't watching?
Exactly. I was tricking people. Yeah, you got me. We'll be back next Thursday night if we haven't melted from the heat. 7:00. Join us on Facebook Live. Make sure to follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at Hammer Report. I think I shared that the new design there on Cap Henry's car from Lane Racing. So there's some things I do on Twitter that doesn't show up on our Facebook page. So there's a reason to follow us there. Also follow us on YouTube. We get a few more subscribers there. Not too many, but a few. But it all adds up. And listen to us on iHeartRadio, Spotify, whatever, Google, iTunes. I don't care. As long as you listen to us, it's all good. So
we'll see you all next week.
Oh, I guess I got to play the show close, don't I? Here, we'll get that.
Or we'll see you at a local track this weekend.
There you go. I hope so. I still got to put my car back together. The pieces.
You've got it from where you're at now.
I hope so. Yeah. Bye. See you next week.
See you, folks.
You have been listening to the Hammer Down Racing Report from the Ron Miller Race Car Studio. Listen on demand on iHeartRadio.